Welcome to This Grandma's Life podcast. I'm your host, theciaellis. Get ready to laugh, learn, and grow with me as we explore growing old in an ever changing world. Today is August 26, 2023. This is episode 45, a small but important victory. First off, I'm going to try to do this. I've got my dog behind me, my big dog that's getting out in out of the heat. And the only problem with that is I have to turn off the air conditioner to to do this podcast because it makes too much noise. And I do have a fan that's blowing on me right now, but it's not blowing on him, and he's not going to understand why I turned off the air conditioner. And we may not get through this podcast before that turns into an issue, but we'll find out. All right, farm happenings. Let's get started on that. Whew, okay, today it's not been too bad. I think the high, I think our heat index is only like 112 today, something. It's been, and well, maybe not even that now that I think about it, but we've had some really major heat. Even when it doesn't get above 100 degrees in actual temperature, the heat index has gotten up to 122 degrees. And I think yesterday was 102 actual temperature, and the heat index was like 117, something like that. So it's been really hot, very humid, very difficult to function in and work. And I get up early in the morning and try to get out and before it gets way too hot. But even when we do the evening chores, it's still very hot. The we even with the sun in the process of going down, the heat index is still well over 100 frequently. So yeah, it's been a pretty hot stretch. In fact, I was so heartbroken. Um, I got those baby chicks. I don't know if you saw my on my one of my videos recently. I got a whole batch of baby chicks so I can have something for next laying season. And there was no heat lamp on or anything, and they had water, but every one of them died. I go out to do the evening chores, and they just keeled over. And I have to admit, I was really upset and kind of devastated with that, honestly. But I mean, I understand things like that happen. When you're on a homestead, you have losses on a regular basis anyway. I mean, not regular basis, but enough to that you think after a while you would adapt more easily. I guess I don't know, but all I know is there was 26 little baby chicks that morning were really nice and looking good. That afternoon was still looking pretty decent, and then that evening they were gone. Every last one of them were gone, and I don't know what the deal was, because it's not like they were in direct sunlight or anything like that. I don't know. And like I said, they had water. It was just too much for them. Um, I go to most of Kenzie's softball games. When she's playing, I go to all of them. But she hurt her knee a couple weeks ago, so I've only been going to home games. And it was so hot that they had a junior high game before the high school game, and what the catcher after the game was over for the junior high, she apparently passed out. They took her to back into the a cool room, was trying to cool her down and hydrate her and stuff, and she continued to deteriorate, where she turned gray and even started foaming at the mouth, which is indicative of someone about to go into cardiac arrest. And I was talking to one of the ladies afterward who had attended to her, and they said that her pulse was pretty thready, but so she had definitely suffered a heat stroke. That's no fun at all. And she did recover. She's recovering nicely. They took her vitamins to the hospital, and she was able to go home the next day. And I was really grateful for that, because the very next day, after that same day, or during that same time, I guess in a town nearby where we were, another girl went down with heat stroke too. So, but and then as far as I know, there she's fine also too. So, yeah, it's been difficult. It's been hard. Okay, I mentioned that Kenzie and I had okay, Kenzie had hurt her knee, and I've been having some trouble with my Achilles tendons and my left knee, and just several things going on with me too. So I scheduled us to have our physical therapy at the same time. And at first I thought, well, that's a good idea, because it's one less trip to town and all that other stuff. But on hindsight, I should have scheduled them separately, because I want to be there I should have been there to listen to exactly what was going on with Kinsey while she was doing her physical therapy, so I could guide her and stuff. I mean, she's doing all right anyway, but when I'm supposed to be a grandma and be there to make sure she's doing that, I'm going through my own personal torture. But you know what? I liked both physical therapists. I like what the lady did for Kinsey, and she's definitely improving. And she wasn't for a while. She was not getting better at all. But now that she knows what to do to what to exercise, what the issues are, and how to combat it, she's actually recovering quite nicely now, and I'm glad for that. And I'm better. My injuries apparently are a lot older and more terrible, and I may never recover from mine. I was a little surprised. I think I had mentioned it last time that the doctor had said that I had that he could tell that I'd had plantar fasciitis and it was really bad, but I didn't understand why. So I asked the physical therapist, and she goes, "Oh, well, I looked at the X-rays," and she goes, "You've got calcification all through your feet." And I went, "Oh," and calcification shows up in X-rays, and if you look at my X-rays, there's a lot of calcification all through my feet. It's kind of a trip. So yeah, mine, I may never get over mine, but at least I'm learning to. Oh, another thing she told me that was kind of an interesting issue too was, she goes, "Oh, we need to strengthen your calves." I'm going, "What? Do you know? Do you see who you're looking at? I mean, I'm old, but I am a powerful old woman." But then she starts poking around on my left calf, and you know what? I had been walking so improperly for so long on that leg that there was a muscle in my leg that was not working right and causing me problems, and that's what's making my knees swell up. And by the end of the day, the whole leg. I'm thinking, all right, all right. So I've been doing her physical therapy even at home and stuff like that, because I want to get, because that's what we're supposed to do for one thing. But I want to get better. Kinsey wants to get better, so we are doing our physical therapy. Tom, that day that the girls got hurt and on softball, Tom came home. He didn't go to the softball game that evening because he was having another episode with heat exhaustion, and I I worry about him. He had some heat exhaustion whenever we had a water leak a few weeks ago, and the work he does puts him in hot laundry rooms while he's working on the washrooms and dryers and stuff. And he is another one of those things that he was literally exhausted and couldn't do anything for. He didn't go to work the next day, so he's recovering. He's doing pretty good right now. I don't know if he's 100% yet, but it's hard to tell if he's ever 100%. And so uh, I did I was out working the other day trying to get some stuff done, and I did found one of my ducks. It was a duck. I shouldn't have kept her because I do Pekin ducks, and so it's just a plain, like the Aflac, plain white big ducks. And I don't know what happened 2 or 3 years ago. A duck, a wild duck, apparently got in and got hold of one of my Pekin ducks, and she was so cute. It was just she was black, she was spotted black and white, and I had hatched her, and she just caught my heart because she was the when she right after she was hatched, she's looking at me like, "Hey, are you my mom?" And it caught my heart, so I've kept her. And the only reason that's a problem is because she was a female, and I needed to get if I want to do just Pekin ducks, that's a mixed breed that you can't. When I'm selling ducklings, you can't sell them. But I found her dead the other day out in the heat or whatever. She was hiding in the grass, and I didn't see any evidence of predator or anything, but she had been dead for a little bit. So I found her. But you know what? When I hatched some eggs early this year, if you look at my videos, you can see I've got another one that's black and white spots. And she's a female also, I believe. So I don't know. I like those birds. I don't know, but I did find her, and that's kind of a bummer. My three things today is start some eggs in incubator. I'm thinking, okay, I don't have enough. I really don't have enough eggs to service my customers right now. I'm already having to turn some down, but you know what? I'm going to take 2 dozen, and I'm going to start some eggs anyway. And I wanted to, like I said, I wanted 25 chickens. And if I do 2 dozen, that means I probably end up with 12 girls, for layers for next season. And I'm going to have a bunch of roosters again, but that's the way it is. But I did. I started 24 eggs in the incubator this morning. I was going to mow in the vineyard. That was another of my three things. And Actually, Tom said he wanted to do some mowing. I thought, you go right ahead. I don't want to, I don't, I don't need to mow anyway. So he did some mowing this morning while I made some breakfast. So it's, even though it was one of my three things, I didn't do it. And then tonight I've got a level up meeting. I really enjoy these level up meetings. It's like a book thing. We read a book that's helpful to help us move forward in everything. And then we were doing on Thursday nights, but tonight we're going to be doing it on Saturday night. Some of us, the schedule is better. It's better for me. So that's what I'm going to be doing tonight is a level up meeting. So of my three things, I did start some eggs incubating. I will be doing a level up meeting, I believe. And I did not mow. What I'm reading is The Happiness Advantage by Sean Acor. This was written in 2010. And this particular chapter is called Discovering the Happiness Advantage, I believe. And there's just a short piece. This one is on page 24. It says, happiness is not the belief that we don't need to change. It's the realization that we can. And that's the only thing in that whole section that struck me. But I like it. And I had marked it because often we are happiest when we think things are as they should be, and are unhappy when we suddenly remember some things that need to change, including ourselves, so but we always need to be changing. We need to be always need to be growing. We always need to be doing and stuff, and knowing that we always can change should make us happy too. So that's part of what I was reading on that one, and that's all for that part today. What I'm listening to is the 10X Rule by Grant Cardone. This is my second time through. He's a pistol. He's powerful. He's like a bull. He's gonna get through. It reminds me of the old book. It's kind of almost a kid's book, but it's not really. I think that was like the Rhinoceros Challenge book or something like that. It's a fairly short book, but it's saying that just charge like a rhinoceros wherever you're going. That's kind of what it reminds me of. And so that's what I was listening to. I'm still listening to it on my second learning on that one. Other things I'm learning. Oh, I don't know. I want to talk about this, but then at the same time, I don't. I'm learning that they're wanting to bring back, they have already brought back mask mandates at Lionsgate Industry. They're still at colleges or want you to have a vaccination. And they're thinking about bringing back masks in other areas too. They're, because there's another variant going around. Guys, we are Americans. If you want to wear a mask, wear a mask. If you don't want to wear a mask, don't wear one. That's my philosophy, big time. We are supposed to be freedom loving Americans. You do you, let me do me. Don't make me do what you do. And if you know anything about me at all, I absolutely abhor masks. And I struggle because even the science is showing that it doesn't do anything to keep you from getting this coronavirus. Gotta keep my blood pressure under control. This really is something that bothers me. But my main thing I want to say to you guys, remember that this is America. Remember what this country was based upon the freedoms to do us, to be able to do what we can do in our lives. This is not a caste system like in India where you were born poor, you're going to stay poor. This is, and if you're not, you're not, and we're not, we're turning into a socialist country, but we are going through some wicked changes. And I think my heart stresses so hard, guys. We need to be free. We need to be able to free to make our own choices. We need to be free to do our own thing. And whether it's for a vaccination, whether it's for a mask, whether it's for a job, whether it's for whatever, this is America, guys, and we need to be fighting to get back our country. That's all I can say. And the only way we can do that is to stand up for our own particular freedoms. I was completely anti-political until I was told I had to wear a mask. And I have become a lot more political than I want to be, because you took away, when you make a mandate, you took away my freedom. You took away my ability to work, to breathe. You had no Even when there was no actual science to back it up, you were going to force me to wear a mask, or I can't go in there and do what you need, I can't do business with you, or I can't go someplace where my kid couldn't go to school because she had to wear a mask. And that's just wrong. That is wrong, 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 wrong. And I won't lie, I struggle with looking at people wearing masks. And one side of my face, I'm saying the be you, do you, and stuff like that. And I try to abide by that feeling, but I have to admit, I have such a hatred of the whole concept of the mask. And if you know anything about me at all, it's probably a PTSD issue, which really pissed me off too, because I thought I was over that issue, but apparently I'm not after so many years. But so when I see somebody wearing a mask, I really have to remind myself not to be angry with them, not to be upset with them because they are wearing a mask. Um, like I said, it's America. If they want to wear a mask, wear a mask. So that's what I'm learning. My heart is broken that they're considering it. They're going to try to scare us all again, and it's like, really, how are you getting scared? Did you not learn anything from all this? Learn, people, to step up, be Americans, and learn from the garbage that you're being told. So that's what I'm learning. All right, what I'm like writing, I'm trying to be. I was more consistent with my prayer journal every night, but then we've had some late nights. Like I went to the football game last night. We didn't get in until 11 o'clock at night, and softball games are starting later after they've had this incident with the girls going down. They've been starting the softball games at 8 o'clock at night. So that's by the time I start getting ready to go to bed and everything, and that's when I actually do a lot of my writing. But so on game nights, I'm not working on my prayer journal, but I have been more consistent with it. But I'm also working on a chapter of a book I'm writing. And at this point in this book, if I'm breaking down what women and men look for in the opposite sex when choosing who to date and eventually may marry. And there's, of course, there's always different aspects of it. For one thing, some of when you're young, you think about it, you're not really, when you're real young, you're not looking for a spouse. You're looking for somebody to have fun with. You're sexually attracted to them, and you're testing waters in different areas. And so, but this the book I'm trying to write is to help you get your mindset right in choosing who to date and why, and how it affects the rest of your life. So that's what I'm working on. My quote of the day is, if you wait for the perfect moment when all is safe and assured, it may never arrive. Mountains will not be climbed, races won, or lasting happiness achieved. This is Maurice Chevalier. I think that's how you pronounce that. Yeah, I think that's what I looked up. That's what it said. And I I I want to talk to you about this guy who said this here in a few minutes, but because it was a fascinating story. But let me repeat the quote before I start telling you about the man who said it. If you wait for the perfect moment when all is safe and assured, it may never arrive. Mountains will not be climbed, races won, or lasting happiness achieved. And that is true. They're always telling you that if you want to go someplace, you can't wait till all the lights are green on the street. You just have to do the stop and go and get there. If you wait till all the lights are green, you're never going to get started. And that's kind of what this particular thing is about. Just go, do your best, and keep going. Okay, but Marie Chevalier was a French singer, actor, and entertainer, and he lived from 1888 to 1972. He contributed greatly to the musical genre as okay, let me rephrase that. He contributed greatly to the musical as a film genre in the 1930s. What I mean by that is, you have action movies, you have horror movies and stuff like that, and he contributed to the musical as being a genre of movies. And when he was young, he was wounded and captured in World War I, and spent 26 months in the German prisoner of war camp, where he learned English from a fellow prisoner, which is going to play into his career when he came to America years later as a French actor and doing movies. So yeah, he was wounded and captured and 26 months, guys. That's a long time to be in a prison camp. I mean, for anything, honestly. And so, but he learned English. In World War II, he was a performer by then, and in one of the things he did, he performed in a German prison camp in exchange for the release of several French prisoners, which I think that's pretty cool too. The only thing is, because he did that, he was denounced as a collaborationist. I'm going, what the heck is a collaborationist? So I looked it up, and a collaborationist is he did this a performance in exchange to get French prisoners of war released. And somebody accused him of working with the Germans. He was collaborating with the Germans. Does that not sound? And and that's World War II, guys. So even we can say now things are stupid and way out of whack and stuff like that. But you think this man did a good thing and was trying to have prisoners released, and he was accused of collaborating with the enemy. But his name was soon cleared up after that. So yeah, but I thought that was interesting because if you think about when you talk about who is a French actor, and even whomever, when you talk about doing musicals, what kind of person do you envision when you look at a singer dancer Frenchman that does musicals? It's not a World War One prisoner of war or any a prisoner of war for anything. So that's one of the things that kind of struck me, was that my scripture of the day is, let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. James 1:4. And that again, that's let me repeat that one. Let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. And there's a reason I'm doing that, because perseverance is one of the things I have to. I think we all have to. I think we all have to exercise perseverance in our lives, and that's kind of what I want to kind of focus on today, because my main subject is a perseverance thing. Um, I wanted to do some mowing. Let me rephrase that. I hate to mow. I'm allergic to grass. It makes me very sick in a lot of ways. I've been having some asthma issues because I did do all this the other day. But when either Kinsey or Tom mow, they don't pick up the garden hose. They just find out where it is and they mow around it. So we had some grass that was like, oh my gosh, it was way over my head. Okay, so and the garden hose, had not been picked up since the beginning of the season. And this is the hose that goes out to water the birds, my adult birds. And I wanted to mow properly. I wanted to get everything knocked down, and it really needed to be bush hog, but I haven't gotten onto the tractor to do that yet. But I spent literally an hour untangling the garden hose out of the grass, and I was so tired and so frustrated. And the sun's getting higher in the sky, and it's getting hotter and hotter, and I really wanted to quit. But at the same time, Grant Cardone is in my ear telling me, don't be quitting, don't be a quitter. It's kind of weird how that kind of worked out, because he's saying you got to keep charging forward, you got to do what you got to do. And because I had Grant Cardone in my ear yelling at me, telling me not to quit, I didn't quit. I had to walk away once or twice and catch my breath, and force myself to get back at it. But I won. I persevered. I got that stupid garden hose out of the grass, and got it rolled up, and I've even done a video on that. That's going to be coming out in the next day or two. And I feel good about that. And that sounds really dumb. You go, why do you care? Why would I care that I persevered? Well, I've been struggling lately, and I think everybody does to a certain extent. You struggle with um eh, like, okay, let's say like with the pigs that were getting out over and over and over again. And I had to persevere. I had to work with the fencing, and now they all stay in, and I've won about that. But our place looks awful. We've got grass. I'm on 40 acres. We don't own all 40 acres, but I'm on 40 acres that doesn't get mowed, it doesn't get bush hogged, and it's a fire hazard. And I have to admit, every time the wind whips up and we go into a fire weather warning, I'm always worried that everything in my on my property is going to get burned up. And if I don't learn how to take care of it and get it done, it probably will. I'm not going to lie. So I decided that if it's going to be done, it's got to be me. And I have to remind myself of that occasionally, because that's the whole reason I started my YouTube channel. That's the whole reason I've done a whole bunch of stuff, is because I know if something needs to be done, I'm the one that's going to have to do it. And but sometimes it gets overwhelming. It gets really tiring. I'm 61. I'm not getting any younger. How in the heck am I going to take care of all this acreage by myself? Can I do it? How much longer can I do it? What am I going to do what's going to happen when I can't do it anymore? It's a kind of a discouraging thing. So, if I had walked away from that garden hose as badly as I wanted to, it would have been a defeat, been one more defeat, and it would have been one more acquiescing and uh, just succumbing to the what is going on with me and not conquering it. And even if I'm tired the next day or have trouble with asthma or anything like that because I'm allergic to this grass and stuff, it is what it is. Because if I want to have a nice place, I'm going to have to do it. And so I needed that victory over that flipping garden hose. I did need it. I needed to know that I could succeed at that at one point or another. And even if it did meant Grant Cardone had to be yelling at me in my ear. And that's why it was important to me. It was a minor victory, but it was an important victory for me. My story of the day, it kind of fits along the same line too. Kinsey, when she hurt her knee a couple weeks ago, has been hard on her. Now she's a tough girl. When I watch her on the basketball court, she's 5'1.5", I think, something like that, about 99 pounds. So she's fast as heck. She's a fast girl, and just really talented, but she is little, and she gets knocked around the basketball floor. When she hurt her knee several weeks ago, she kind of shook it off and didn't do anything with it. And of course, she wasn't doing any after that basketball camp. She wasn't doing anything to deal with that knee, so it basically kind of healed until she started running bases on softball. And after the first game, she's hurt her knee. And so we discovered that that her kneecap is set a little bit high, and it's making that patella tendon more uh, susceptible when she lands on it. Of course, now she's wearing knee pads and stuff like that. But she's been on crutches. She's been taped. She's been wearing a brace, and she's doing different things. And it's been hard on her confidence. So after the physical therapy, that helped, but she had babied it for a few days, long enough that she couldn't even really straighten the knee that well. And so she's had to work on flexibility on the knee, and now she's having to work on regaining confidence in that knee. The coaches are watching her, and the coaches love her. It's one of those, and it is a struggle. When you've got somebody in your midst that's so talented and so fast and so willing, that's hurt. You want them to be better. You need them back out on the court. You need them back out on the field, stuff like that. But you don't want to hurt them more. So the coaches have been watching that. She got cleared to do kind of light duty and could do some catching and stuff. And the coaches have been watching her. And finally, one of the coaches the other day had said, "Hey, we know you're still hurting some, but we're watching you, and we think that you're scared, and you're scared to put weight on it." And she goes, "Yeah, I am." She goes, "I'm fast. That's my skill. I'm very fast. If I hurt my knee more, I won't be fast again. And yes, I'm scared." So, so we're working with her and getting her confidence back as in her knee and in herself and everything like that too. So that's kind of my story with her. While I'm trying to gain confidence and working on try to out here on the property and doing things, we're also trying to instill confidence in Kinsey so that she can think it might be sore for a while, but it's going to get better and she'll be fine. So yeah, that's my story of the day for that. My question of the day is: when have you needed perseverance to conquer something in your life? You know, whether it's physical, emotional, or whatever it is. I would like to hear from you on when you needed a perseverance to get you something. You know, whether it was a death in a family or if it was a physical injury or something psychological where you've been having trouble with depression or anxiety or something like that. I'd love to hear about it. Email me at theciaellis@gmail.com. And that's, it looks like the CIA, THECIA, Ellis, ELLIS @gmail.com. And so, because I'd like to hear some of your stories and here's what's going on with you. All right, my income producing activity of the day is Podmatch. Podmatch is a company that I'm dealing with for these podcast. And I've actually done a couple of interviews. What it is it kind of matches you up to different people to do interviews with them. I think about three each time. They try to match you up with somebody else who has a podcast, and then you try to connect to see if you can be on each other's podcast and interview each other's stuff. I'm not interviewing people yet. But I have been on a couple others interviews, and it's been fun. And I think I need that's something else I need to get a little bit of confidence in too is to do some talk to people and have them on my show. I guess that would be kind of interesting when it I'll have to think about it. I need to get some confidence on it. But podmatch.com, if you have a podcast and it's cool. Okay, let me back up on this one a little bit too. Even if you don't have a podcast, I would consider doing one. You have stories. You've had a wonderful life. I mean, if not a wonderful life, you've had a fascinating life. I don't care what's happened. You've had interesting things happen, and having a podcast is a really cool way of telling your story. And even if nobody's listening at first, there are always a few people that will listen, but it is there, and people can look back on your story years down the road and hear your story. And so podmatch.com is a there's an affiliate link below where you can go to it, and if you and you can go through there. It won't cost you anything more than that. Podmatch is just for hooking you up with other people. But I would consider doing a podcast. I've enjoyed it. I enjoy doing the research, like with the different people. Um, for my quotes of the day, I enjoy looking up the scripture to try to fit it into whatever it is I'm doing. I'm just enjoying the whole thing. But um, that's pretty much all I got for you. I would appreciate it if you would give me a review, and so I can be found. And because you know, if you're going to put the effort into something, you'd like for people to be able to hear it. One of the things I've been more available on. Let me rephrase that a little bit too. Okay, so I can be found at grandmashomestead.farm. That's my website. I post an update, farm update every week. I'm getting better about posting some recipes, and so that's what on that. And there's some other things I'm going to start putting on too in the future. My main YouTube channel is Grandma's Homestead, and I've been posting on that for years. Farm Animal Life is a YouTube channel. I'm on Instagram and Facebook, MeWe, Twitter, and Rumble. But on TikTok, I've also been putting, I was talking about doing quotes and stuff. I don't go into whoever said it or anything about their background, but I either do a quote of the day or scripture of the day. And I've been posting that on TikTok along with something has happened. Like I think one of my most recent other ones I had done was my ducks in the evening playing in the water and enjoying their evening bath, basically. So I do farm stuff, and I do the quotes, and I do scripture. All right, guys, that's all I got for you today. I really would like to start hearing from some of you and knowing whether what some of your stories are, what you've been overcoming in one form or another. And guys, this is all we got in life. When and I pray that you are living your life the way that you wanted to and have not worked toward it, because this is it. That's all we got. God bless, guys. I'll see you next time.